foundational pieces, old friends in new gigs, and a quick victory lap. Welcome to the Unlimited Supply Podcast, your daily music business TLDR in your ear, powered by 30 years of Been There, Done That, and brought to you by NoDisc, helping music, technology, and finance companies navigate the music industry, and partnered with Digital Music News. It's November 10th, 2025. I'm Lars Murray in the belly of the tech beast, San Francisco, today, recording off the back of a beautiful Steinway piano. It's Monday, where we talk about what happened over the weekend and what is on deck for this week. Over the weekend, well, last week was kind of a busy week, what with the Music Tectonics Conference happening and just, well, a lot of stuff to cover. One of the things we didn't have room to talk about came out last Monday. It's Ed Christman's profile piece in Billboard on old friend Jeff Price, serial founder of companies that do the gritty work of getting artists and songwriters paid. Aside from the fact that it shines a light on a guy who's done a lot of stuff but isn't a household name in the industry, there's this opening line from Ed, quote, "Mention Jeff Price's name in a room full of music executives, and some will almost certainly wince and say that he is a troublemaker," which has the benefit of being true and also demonstrates why we still have writers. No AI would write that line. But if you want to know anything about this business on the independent side, you better know who Jeff is. He founded TuneCore. He founded Audiom, which gets independent publishers paid by YouTube, and his current company, Word Collections, gets comedians paid and also musicians, and is also backed by old friends Metallica. And Jeff was the loudest voice screaming out against the so-called royalty black box that distributes unmatched royalties to the largest publishers when the Music Modernization Act was passed and the MLC was established. He is for sure fighting for the little guy. He is for sure not everybody's cup of tea. He is for sure important to know about. Check out the full piece over at Billboard. A second foundational piece explaining where we are now and how we got here is over at Hits, where their pseudonymous I Be Bad wrote a deep dive on the stage of large artist music management and the various power and responsibility shifts between labels and management companies going on. The dynamics are complex, but if you want to work in this business at a high level, it's very important to understand who's really making the decisions, who's motivated to do what, and who's also really in charge. The piece runs it down artist by artist: Taylor, Beyonce, Zach Bryan, Justin Bieber, Dua Lipa, Olivia Rodrigo, etc. And there's a third foundational piece on the reading list this week. Over at Digital Music News, Sonia Chien wrote a long piece examining the question, what does indie really mean in 2025? Which is a great question. I recently asked a 20-year-old to name the foundational artist of indie music, and he responded Radiohead, which is aesthetically probably fair, but Radiohead is actually a product of that famously indie hit factory, EMI. And while its side projects have come out on indies, the mothership was launched on a major. The article poses the question. It doesn't provide a single satisfactory answer to the question because that may not be possible. But again, for basic music industry literacy, it's an important read, an important thing to ponder. Actually, over the weekend, we had Grammy nominations. The New York Times has a good rundown and exegesis of how it played out. A lot of what I'll call the new usual suspects are represented, e.g. Lady Gaga, Kendrick Lamar, etc. Over at Billboard, there's a rundown of nominations in the big four categories by label. Spoiler alert, Interscope led the pack with 8, and congrats to old friends Justin Eshak and Imran Majid over at Island for punching above their weight in second place with 6. If you want the blow-by-blow on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ceremony, you can find one over at Billboard and, of course, as always, at Rolling Stone. Since we're off tomorrow on Tech Tuesday for Veterans Day, and since we are in San Francisco, the belly of the beast this morning, a couple of big tech headlines. Well, remember how we've been saying that growth isn't really going to justify the price targets on Spotify's stock? Well, lo and behold, who knew? We were right. Over at Digital Music News, Dylan Smith has the rundown on how analysts at the big financial houses have revised their targets downward on Spotify in the wake of their Q3 earnings call the other day. And since I'm pretty sure I have no influence over these guys, I will ask you to pause for a moment while I take a victory lap for successfully identifying the issue, if not outright predicting the outcome. All right, enough of a victory lap. A little bit outside of the music industry, but very much on the minds of digital worker bees and tech workers. Last week, Meta laid off 600 AI workers. And while Meta said it was basically a reboot of sorts, it's hard to escape the feeling that those 600 humans just trained their AI replacements. On a rosier note, congrats to two real humans starting real new jobs. Over at Warner Music, congrats to Leda Chang, the newly appointed Vice President of Global Brand and Audience. And over at Rolling Stone, congrats to human revenue machine old friend Dan Weiner, who joins as Head of Sales and Partnerships, coming over from Condé Nast. Go Dan. There's been a lot of churn in the industry this year, and we want to do our part to help hook up the right people with the right job opportunities. So presenting our second weekly Job of the Week. It's supplied by self-identified super friend of the pod, Master Headhunter, Master Connector, Tom Truitt of Turnkey ZRG. This week's featured job comes from Celebrity Coaches, which is looking for a chief revenue officer in Nashville. Celebrity Coaches is not a personal coaching service. Nope, it's more glam than that. It's a private equity-backed Nashville-based company which specializes in serving the live music, entertainment, and sports industries by providing world-class tour buses, mobile offices, and experiential vehicles to artists, athletes, brands, and entertainment pros across the country. It's a great job for a business development executive who possesses significant relationships in music, sports, and media verticals. And Dan Weiner now is off the market, folks, so go get it. Also, happy birthdays over the weekend and today to old friends, human content machine Mike Spinella of SoundCloud, AI fixer Alisha Outridge, and my old marketing teammates Scott Greer, Mauro DeCeglie, and Robin Frank. Damn, that's an impressive group. Finally, looking at the week ahead, today it's iHeartMedia's Q3 earnings call. We'll cover it on Wednesday. Tomorrow it's Sony's fiscal Q2 earnings call. On Wednesday, Tencent does the same thing. On Thursday, it's the Latin Grammy Awards in Vegas. And coming up this weekend, it's Tyler, the Creator's Camp Flog Gnaw Carnival in LA. Support for the Unlimited Supply podcast is provided by RoyFi. If you're a label or distributor or a publisher and you want to take advantage of other people's money and other people's technology to provide advances, let's have a chat. And by Hangout.fm, Hangout by Turntable Labs Inc., is the new social listening platform where users connect, discover new music, and play over 100 million songs with their friends and family. If you like what you hear, please hit that follow button wherever you get your pods. I live for your praise and encouragement, but it really helps if you share that praise as a rating and or a review on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or Spotify, and tell a friend or three. Links are in the show notes, but you can also visit unlimitedsupplypod.com to sign up for our newsletter, to tell us what you think about the show, to suggest feature ideas, to feed us info, to feed us lunch, to call us out on our dubious assertions, and to tell us what we're missing out on. We're off tomorrow on holiday and jetting eastward. I'm Lars Murray, and remember, in this business, no conflict means no interest.